opening hand, a second low level monster, and we at least get to play a card. Interestingly, having just a Dragonic Slayer on board is kind of fine against Psychics because Prima Katana only goes up to 2,500, and we can kind of wall that out with a trap card, which is very funny to think about. Assuming, that, of course, that they don't get a second boss monster on the board afterwards. Alright, classic Psychic player, setting 3 and passing. But this is not looking good. 1, 2, 3. Is it even worth it to try attacking with this thing? We'll take some damage, but once Slayer comes out, we are in a better position. We're at about half health. And here come the Sports Dragons. Very interesting. We actually could have used this monster reincarnation to set up a Sports Dragon line. But I think we are fine as is. We're using our cards fairly efficiently. Dragonic Slayer, Twin Edge, activate Resonance. 1 and 2. Then Slayer, of course, destroy the face down, avoid any widespread ruins. And then do we activate this effect? I think so. This will weaken a potential Prima Katana. Swing in. We get to clear the board. If they had another boss monster, I feel like they would have summoned it. Oh, using the 2 concert guys. So if their hand is just 3 low levels, we're actually in an okay spot. Especially since they aren't allowed to use their skill if they don't have 2 or fewer cards in hand. Silent Assailant, 1500. Somewhat threatening. But presumably these are getting tributed off. So, interesting to see them start off with 1500s. If that's their weakest low-level monster, their hand might be a little bit awkward. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use a barrier here, protect my life points just a little bit, while also setting up a Sports Dragon Slugger for the future. Slayer is safe, so I should be able to start destroying some more face downs this turn. Lesser Dragon coming on out. Do I want to reincarnate? I mean, getting another Twin Edge is obviously always great, but I'm not sure how much that's actually worth it. Unless it's a potential lethal push. Would having an extra 1500 attack win me the game? So we destroy that. We deal 1500. We crash. And then... No, that's not that much damage. Okay, so Dragorite. Gravity Press. Toss this. Weaken you. Activate the skill. Buff 1 and 2. Slayer. Let's go ahead and destroy this one. Set a card. We hit the widespread ruin because we're good at the game. Enter the battle phase. Swing in. It is worth noting their life points are low enough where after the Ramon pick, they can't actually use Prima Katana's effect to buff their attack. So we have that going for us at the minimum. But a monster reincarnation being activated could get them that summon Skull, which is always pretty powerful. But they just go for a low-level monster. So their hand was a little bit awkward. We see Night Assailant, or Silent Assailant, coming out one more time. And presumably Esperade is somewhere to be seen. Berry Basis paying 500 again, down to just 400 life. Keycard Kid coming out. And now they have plenty of monsters for their next tribute. Alright, here we go. Finally, Esperade makes its appearance. Destroying, presumably, the 2 that are not Dragorite. But this is not lethal. They set a card. That's fine. Battle phase. Let's go ahead. Barrier. That was a mistake. Wow. What a punish. Let's go ahead and shuffle this. They absolutely should have swung with that one first. There's no reason for them to have done that. we can use another barrier. Get another card back into the deck. I'm going for just low-level monsters because we have a monster reincarnation set to grab our Slayer. So we just want to make sure we have the materials to actually make a play. Sports Dragon Slugger, great start. Activate the effect. Revive Pitcher. Summon Slayer. 1 and 2. Then we summon the Winged Dragon, boost the levels, and we can destroy the trap card and swing in for game. They set 2. Are they going for a tribute summon? It's a Growl. 1800 plus a card for defense. Interesting. Am I more inclined to think that that's Widespread Ruin if they're willing to summon a monster in attack mode on turn 1? Or are they just like, well, it's not a 0 defense mode? Tough to say for sure. But I will Twin Edge. And then we just set 2, summon Ancient. And the idea here is, if they don't have Widespread Ruin, having another monster in attack mode alongside the Ancient Arise Dragon is our best shot at protecting ourselves from rogue heavy metals. Try to swing in for the 1200, see what happens. This plays around Recital, plays around Barrier, Phantom Bind. But if it's Widespread Ruin specifically, then teehee. Not much we can do there. We deal in the 1200, try to attack, but this could very easily be a 1400. It's a 1200, we take 2. And Palace Gargoyle, of course, has that effect to increase its level. However, we did leave a monster on the board, which may not be all bad, as now they can't use Ghost Cyclone on us. Palace Gargoyle immediately going in, indicating they do have— oh, and a Red Eyes Black Dragon. This could be a difficult battle ahead of us. They set 2. But they were just discarding a card. They must have bricked on back row or high levels. Or, you know, a combination of both. Definitely we go ahead and set this so that we can summon you. Then we Twin Edge, and we'll toss the Ancient Arise. Wait, no. Toss the low level. My bad. Set a card. Activate our skill. 1 and 2. And then we might as well use Ancient Arise Dragon's effect. Try to get a Sports Dragon in the graveyard for later. Battle phase. Could play around the barrier. But could also just kind of start swinging. Yeah, of course they have 1. Oh wait, because this isn't Dragius. I could have just swung in anyway. That is my bad. I kind of forgot how the card worked. Swing in again. And now it's a Widespread Ruin to destroy the Ancient. That's fine. We could have probably gotten in for the extra 1100. But we have some protection of our own. So this isn't too bad. Here comes the Ghost Cyclone though. And they hit the Widespread. And they get to draw a card. They somehow have not played 4 monsters that game. They lose a heavy metal, but their hand had a ton of high-level monsters, so I'm sure they're not really missing it. Yep, Kanan, Palace Gargoyle, both coming in. Now they could summon a level 7, but if they want the heavy metal to use its effect, they do have to give up both cards in their hand to make this happen. Which is at least a little bit of a reassurance to me. Heavy metal coming down, sure. I'll definitely use barrier here. I want those Triad Dragos back in the deck. Drawing extra cards, always a benefit. And hey, it pays off. We draw into Triad Drago. That's gonna give us an extra card against this heavy metal. To try to make sure we can push through it. Let's draw. And it's a Sports Dragon. That's not anything great. Obviously. But, it could be enough. I'm pretty sure that card's a spell. So, instead of trying to weaken the heavy metal with Gravity Press, I'm just gonna buff up. And try to go for game. If I misread the situation... Oh, I did. It's a recital. And that is rough. Now they get to go off and do some big combos. Past Gargoyle going up to level 5, allowing potentially another heavy metal play or a growl. I think we've only seen one of each because they monster reincarnate. No, all 3 heavy metals are already dealt with. So, I mean, on the plus side, this is the final heavy metal. But if they tributed over here, they must have another one. Didn't they tribute? Oh no, they tributed Palace Gargoyle. Never mind. Alright, so I am taking big damage. But we are definitely not out of the game yet. Phoenix Dragon, plenty of low levels. Let's Slugger. Dragorite. Set these 2 off. And then the question is, can I win? I don't think so. So Ancient Arise is 3k. So they'll have 1400. No, that's not enough. Do I just double Slayer, or do I go for Slayer plus Ancient Arise? I mean, Ancient Arise has to be more damage. Oh, but Gravity Press is the most damage. Swing in. Swing in. This isn't maximal damage, but it actually clears the board, which obviously is important as well. Without a rocker, they shouldn't be able to get a heavy metal out this turn. Black Dragon Rising, I did not really remember that though. So with Black Dragon, that is about half of my life points. If I get Black Dragon plus another boss, like a Growl or something, I guess I am in danger because I have some weak monsters on the board. So that's the downside to running the 2 1500s over the Ancient Arise slot at 24, but then I wouldn't have been able to get rid of both monsters. They killed my boy Luke? Absolutely. Okay. I think we're alive. But, we are running out of cards in our deck. That is a bit of a concern. We find the Monster Reincarnation and a Triad Drago. Let's see what we can do. Summon, summon, draw a card, summon you here, 1, 2, and then, if I go for a Twin Edge, it destroys that and that, then they take 400 plus 15, that's not lethal. If I Monster Reincarnate for a second boss, that's 3k, that's 15, that's still not really... Oh, and I only have 2 cards left in my deck. That is really dangerous. Wow. So I guess we activate the skill here. And this is all we can do. Unless we can lethal with a Gravity Press. But the answer is no. We cannot do that. Battle Phase, destroy this one. Destroy that one. Now the one interesting thing here is, if they say I only have 2 cards and decide to just set and pass, I can actually still win because I have my Monster Reincarnation. But they aren't going to let me out that easy. Looks like they are actually just going to go for game. Red Ice Black Dragon obviously destroys the Slayer. The debuff allows any low level to destroy Dragorite, and then a 1500 kind of just swings in for game. So maybe I shouldn't have used that Triad Drago draw, so I could have played down another card. Seahorse Carrier, yeah, they are making a huge push. Unfortunate. I think I probably misplayed on the last turn, though. Here comes Red Eyes. Oh, it's an actual regular tribute summon. Do we have any sports dragons left? I think we might. But is one boss going to be enough to end the game? Yes, it is. Because we have exactly 2,800 attack. This is game. Sports Dragon Slugger. Activate the effect. Sports Dragon Pitcher. Monster Reincarnation. We send Barrier. And let's grab Slayer. Tribute Summon. And they concede, knowing it's exactly 1,400. And this hand not looking great for going second. Really would have liked to go first to get these cards out of my hand. Without letting them spend 2 turns establishing witches and magicians. Alright, they summon Dragius turn 1, but we do not have the punish. All we can do is set our hand and pass. So this might be the deck we were playing earlier. It looks like Beast Aggro. The deck that we gave up on because I was not good enough to play it. Unfortunately, we might be about... Oh, luckily we are actually taking no damage here as they don't have another monster to round out the board. We were almost taking 3,000 directly. But now they're down to Dragius if we can somehow out this board. Obviously, it's not going to be simple, but let's see what we can do. So, definitely need to set this, summon out the Slayer, 1 and 2. Bring in this, because we need to destroy the trap card before we attack, otherwise we are just in trouble. So we need to boost these, then destroy the trap card. Now Dragius is clearly the bigger threat on the board, however, this one is able to become 3,000, so we can't clear it with barriers. So we need to get rid of it and hope that the Dragius just tries to crash in like a dummy into 3 back row. My monster's going down to 2,000 and the barrier is not enough to protect it. Let's see what else they bring out. Gazelle coming in. Yeah, this is looking dangerous. Because a second hit Prima Katana, that is also huge for them. Dragius activates the effect. I probably want to just shuffle the Phoenix back into the deck. And I need to not, you know, die. So I definitely need to use barriers. Let's get that Phoenix Dragon back in. Ow. That's fine. And then, do I let this one through? I mean, there's nothing I really want to send back, so I'll take it. Also remember, I have this reincarnation, so I can get Slayer. We have a triad. So we can go 1, 2, summon, then 1, 2, draw a card, summon the Slayer that we top decked because we're good at the game. Slayer can destroy the back row. Then we Resonance. Go up 1, gain 600 here. And now we can swing in. Both of my monsters can destroy both of the opponents, so that's a good start. We pass turn, and they are down 2 of their Dragius, 1 of their Ancient Arise, and a Prima. Hammer Crush Deal is going to unfortunately be destroying one of my cards here, presumably. But it is still 50-50. They shouldn't know which one's my trap. And they whiff. Though, not having Monster Reincarnation going into the next turn could be an issue as well. It's Prima Katana again. That's only... Oh, that is going to be up strong enough. So which one are they going for? Time to battle. If they swing into the big one, that's actually huge. That is game. Barrier, activate, shuffle in Slayer, and crash, and that is it. go ahead and set our field. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's Splat, which means it's not Torna, which should keep me relatively safe here. There's no way that's their only monster. I don't want to use my trap card yet. And they lose a 7-zone Magician, which is great. So we lose our 2 Sports Dragons, but we keep a Twin Edge, which could come in handy on the next turn. Winged Dragon. Let's go ahead and set this one. No need to reincarnate anything. It's just a bunch of Sports Dragons. We can flip you. Gravity Press. We could have used Twin Edge's effect instead, but I think this is a little bit safer. Let's head into the battle phase and see what happens. Also worth noting, I could have actually boosted this Twin Edge to keep Gravity Press safe from a Widespread Ruin. But ultimately, I don't think it's like a huge deal. I'm going to destroy the Splat, and then if that's like a Cat or Doriado, it's fine. Yeah, it's Doriado. We'll take up the damage. Not a huge deal here. As you can see, we have a ton of cards on the field. So hopefully that is enough to, you know, kind of muscle through this Witch Magician push they're about to do. Splat coming out. And this is interesting. If they choose not to activate 7-Node Magician's effect, they could have protected it from my Widespread Ruin. However, now they are going to lose the card. So that blows up for sure. I probably want to shuffle one of my Sports Dragons into the deck, but we're not going to activate it here, as Accel Wonder Splat might accidentally swing into the 1400 like a big dummy. Oh, but if we use Barrier here, we actually can't use the Sports Dragons anyway, so there's no reason to shuffle it in. Our only Phoenix Dragon target is a Gravity Press, so I'm not super concerned about utilizing the effect there. Which means I should just tribute off the Phoenix Dragon. We can go 1 and 2. And then we could summon Ancient Arise for 3,000, but we could also have 2 of Winged Dragons, and boost both of them with the skill. And that seems like it's stronger. 1 and 2. Activate Slayer's effect, get rid of that pesky back row. And we can battle. Barrier definitely would have stopped either of these attacks. But now, we're swinging in directly for 2,300. Alright, Thunder the Thunder coming out. Probably going to weaken Slayer as expected. That stops the 2,400s from not trading. But I do have a Barrier here. They can't actually push in for very much damage at all. They swing in. I have a Barrier, getting Phoenix Dragon back into the deck. And we even have Monster Reincarnation, so we win this game. We draw plenty of monsters. Would probably like to see a back row to go along with this. Gravity Press Dragon, not anything crazy. So I think what we're going to do is set 4. This Gravity Press Dragon, we want to get it out of our hand. Try to filter for more low levels since we already have a level 7 set up. Ancient Arise Dragon, of course, a 3,000 beater, always solid. We want to see a Slayer here, and we do. And we even get the card I didn't mention, which was Twin Edge. Now, our board is fully set up. We flip over Gravity Press Dragon. We summon the Twin Edge. Twin Edge Dragon activates its effect and sets up my Sports Dragon Slugger. Activate the skill, and they concede. We have done it. That is King of Games with a post-BANLIST deck. The next Forbidden Unlimited list is going to take place, I believe, on the 26th. And with it, Sports Dragon Pitcher and Bunker Strike are both going to Limited 3. Because of this, I've removed all of the copies of Bunker Strike from this deck. Additionally, we removed 1 copy of Dragius and 1 of our Phoenix Dragons and a Sports Dragon Pitcher. That's 6 cards leaving the deck to be able to continue to play it. To replace the Bunker Strikes and the Dragius that we lost, we're running some Ancient Arise Dragons, a high attack beat stick that never dies to the Barrier, and then we have Gravity Press Dragon, A card that was seeing play back in Season 1, and that fell off as the meta progressed into the mini box. We have to keep the Sports Dragon package because this is the equivalent to the Aquas or the Beasts that everyone else is running. If you don't have the Sports Dragons, your only way to get an extra card are these 2 Triad Dragos, which sometimes, even when you draw it, doesn't really work because you're going to be drawing other monsters like these Twin Edge Dragons that are also level 3, and it just becomes really awkward. If you want to get out multiple boss monsters, you need the Sports Dragons, so you have to cut everything else. I do keep 1 Phoenix Dragon. Slayer is such an important card, and having the flexibility between all of your boss monsters is very useful. Monster Reincarnation is a new addition, at least for me. I did see some people playing this during the festival, but at the time, I thought 2 Phoenix Dragons were enough. Now that the deck is only able to run 1 Phoenix Dragon, Monster Reincarnation becomes necessary to give you that extra layer of recursion. It's definitely worse than Phoenix Dragon because it's a -1 instead of a +0. Other than that, we have Widespread Ruin. We were already running this. And then during the festival, these slots were Phantom Binds, but the barrier serves 2 main purposes that Phantom Bind cannot fill. The first is that it works against aggro decks to get rid of Dragius. Remember, they're only running Dragius in the Dragon slot, so Phantom Bind never does anything. You get the ability to shuffle back monsters into the deck with the barrier, which functions as another form of recursion. Targeting Phoenix Dragon is always a great choice, as Phoenix Dragon is 3 different cards, and other options are getting extra copies of Sports Dragons back in the deck for your advantage engine, or even just like a Triad Drago, or in rare cases, you can get back a boss monster too.